Good day everyone, I am Rosemary Reglas, an accountancy student. First question, do you think that people should use social media in exercising their freedom of speech? Exercising freedom of speech is not only limited to the use of social media, it can be practiced in other ways too. However, in our generation today, people would always associate social media in almost all of our daily activities. That is why we should always make sure that we are responsible enough in using it. Freedom of speech entails that we are free to express our thoughts and ideas without the restrictions from other people. This might seem a very good idea, but we must be very careful in using it. Although we are free to express our thought and ideas, we must make sure that they will not violate any rule or will not cause any harm to others. Social media is a very powerful platform. This can help us to reach to many people, but according to a cliche, with great power comes great responsibility. The responsibility to express factual and not misleading information, and the responsibility to practice freedom of speech without compromising and sacrificing the rights of the other people in our community. For the second question, what should be the limits of freedom of speech in social media? Your right ends when the right of others begins. This means that in a society, people will always interact, and in this interaction, our rights will sometimes conflict with the rights of others. Sometimes, expressing our thoughts and ideas in social media is already causing negative effects to others. Then that is already our signal that we have already overused our freedom of speech freely. For the last question, should we hold people accountable for the misuse or abuse of social media in exercising their freedom of speech? Why or why not? Everyone must be held accountable for the wrong things that we have done. At some point in our life, we are going to make mistakes. These mistakes will help us grow and make us a better person. But for this to happen, we must first acknowledge ourselves that we have committed a mistake and that we are willing to correct it. Holding people accountable for their negative actions in social media is not a way to condemn them, but a way to help them redeem themselves so that they will have the opportunity to become a better version of themselves. Thank you.
What is your name
My name is Annabelle P. Salva.
and what is your background?
I am currently taking Bachelor of Elementary Education.
First question. Do you think that people should use social media in exercising their freedom of speech?
Yes, but social media is not a government platform. It is a private business and thus can allow or not allow what it wants. People can use a social media platform only if their opinions and beliefs are compatible with the platforms.
Second question. What should be the limit of freedom of speech in social media?
Range of rights may present possible justifications for limitations on freedom of expression through the internet, including freedom from discrimination, freedom from cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment.
Should Question number 3. Should we hold people accountable for misuse or abuse of social media in exercising their freedom of speech? Why or why not?
No, because hate speech has no positive purpose. Hate insidious and only destroys. If hate speech is permitted, then logically hate acts are also to be tolerated since they flow directly from it.
Thank you for a beautiful question.
Thank you, sir.
Magandang araw po. The first question is kung dapat bang gamitin ng mga tao ang social media sa paggamit ng kanilang kalayaan sa pagsasalita. So my answer po is yes. I think the right to speak or to express our opinion can also be expressed through the social media as long as our opinions will not hurt po other people, and we are still responsible of those things that we share or we post to our social media accounts. Ano po ang mga limitasyon ng kalayaan sa pagsasalita? So, katulad po nung sinabi ko kanina, so you should know your limitations, na you are free to share your opinion, but you need to make sure that you know the boundaries or the parameters kung hanggang ano lang yung mga words na kailangan mong i-share, because as much as we would like to exercise our rights, we should also consider and we should also be aware that it has its corresponding responsibilities and consequences. So I think it's given naman, and we already know what are the things that we should do or we should share, and what are those things that might hurt other people or may be illegal in some ways. Dapat ba nating panagutin yung mga tao sa pagmali or pang-aabuso sa social media? I guess po, yes, we have, or the authority have the right para po panagutin yung mga tao na yun. Kasi yun nga, katulad po ng sinabi ko kanina, yes, we have our rights to express our opinions, but there are certain limitations that we should also be mindful of this limitation. So dapat po, kung gaano natin kaalam or kung gaano kataas yung kaalaman natin with regards to our rights, dapat ganun din po kataas yung kaalaman natin when it comes to its consequences. Okay po. So I think the authority has all the rights na panagutin po yung mga tao, kasi kahit na social media natin yan, kahit na opinion natin yan, there are still, outside us. Hindi naman po umiikot lang yung mundo sa'yo. So we should also be considerate of the people around us that can be affected of the things that we share or we post. Yan lang po. Thank you so much.
Isang mapagpala at mapagpalayang araw po sa inyong lahat. I am Meryl Novello from Ateneo Dinaga University, and I am one of the chosen interviewee. The first question is, do you think that people should use social media in exercising the freedom of speech? Yes, absolutely yes. Because the freedom of speech is broadly understood as the notion that every person has the natural right to express themselves through any media, including the social media, without any restrictions, without any reprisal, threats, or persecutions. Especially nowadays that we are very engaged in using social media and in coordinating to our friends, to our works, and to our studies. So it is very important and is mostly used in the midst of pandemic. So it's a very big yes that we should start using the internet as exercising the freedom of speech. Next, what should be the limits of freedom of speech and social media? Okay, only the freedom of thought, conscience, and freedom of opinion is the subject to no real restrictions. Each and every person is free to think what she likes without fear of government interference, as long as that information or that opinion stays on yourself, stays private. Okay? And the freedom of expression must be the one who is limited. How you will express your thought. Most notably as it pertains to the violence of moral values and what do you call this, the transmission of messages that incite hatred and violence, such as racism, discrimination, and any other that will ruin the mental health of others. Okay? It is a very big no-no that you will ruin someone's mental health just because you are expressing yourself. No. You are able to express yourself without ruining someone's mental health. This doesn't mean that you have the right to speak or you have the right to express what you feel. It is also you have the right to discriminate and to ruin someone's mental health. It is also a violation, and it also a big impact to others. You say that, yeah, it is just not physically harm, but it is a emotional and mental harm to others. Okay, and next, we should also have the limit to the access of information, because nowadays most of us are using social media, including the children. It is a very important aspect that the right to the free exchange of ideas and information today, it is also the important that we guarantee the right of the children, built in a manner that practice them from those ideas and information that could have a big impact, big effect to their psychological development. Lastly, should we hold people accountable for misuse or abuse of social media in exercising their freedom of speech? Why or why not? Yes, we should. We should hold people accountable for everything they do, their action, their consequences, their effect, their cause. To be accountable means to be responsible or able to justify one's action. Why wouldn't we expect people to be accountable? Why we would not expect them to be? People or the freedom of speech does not mean you are protected by the consequences or from the consequences. Your action, your consequences. What you do is what you will get. If you say something stupid like people should kill someone, that is abusive. That is abuse. If you say people should kill Marites, it is abuse, and both are independent of where this situation or the statement made. The individual right to freedom of speech does not include the right to act like a jerk. People are accountable and liable for speech that is a lie, untrue, incites violations, anarchy, and criminal activity, threatens people's lives and even their properties, or incites mass hysteria. It then becomes civilly liable and in some cases will be criminal. We have a law after it, after the freedom violating the human rights in the freedom of speech. If I incite someone to violence with my speech, that is a criminal act. You should be accountable on it. Okay, I hope that you learn and I hope that you get something from me. Thank you.